I think it's time to open the books on questions that have remained in the dark, on the question of government investigations of UFOs. It's time to find out what the truth really is that's out there. We ought to do it really because it's right. We ought to do it because the American people, quite frankly, can handle the truth. And we ought to do it because it's the law.
All right, do you guys believe in UFOs? Think
Yes.
it's possible?
Yes.
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 So you're saying that and you don't?
No, I do.
You do? Okay.
You ask a question, get an answer, and then dispute the answer.
Wow. Because you're smiling. Okay, I do
UFO
too.
means unidentified flying objects. So there's some things in the air that are unidentified, but do we think that they come from another planet?
In space.
Out of space, yeah.
Yes.
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 Why?
I think it's closed-minded to think that we're alone.
Yeah, but do you think people are flying around, or aliens are flying around trying to check us out?
Well, we're flying around trying to check other things out.
Oh, I have every respect for Bob Considine.
In spite of the fact that he suggests that pranksters, half-wits, and screwballs are responsible for the stories about flying saucers.
Well, I wish I could show him any time a list of about 800 witnesses, some of the big names in aviation, including up to the rank of colonel in the Air Force. They're still flying, and they're still carrying passengers. They've never been grounded. They're still guiding airliners in, the radar men are, night after night in bad weather. If they're screwballs and incompetents, why are they still on the job?
Why do you believe that it's a fairly serious charge that
I know
you make.
it is.
You make the charge that the United States government is withholding from the people of the United States certain very important information. Why will the Air Force, why will the United States government withhold information from United States citizens? For what reason?
Because they're treating them like children, the way they did with the H-bomb at first, and the way they've been doing with other things. Now, I'm not attacking the United States Air Force. I'm attacking a small group in there that has been persistently keeping this from the public, just as they've kept other things. The most important part is the weight of evidence from hundreds of competent people, and I'd like to name a few. Captain Richard Case, American Airlines. Captain C.S. Childs, Eastern Airlines. Captain T. Kravitz, TWA. Robert Dickus, TWA. Colonel Donald J. Blakesley, U.S. Air Force, a wing commander. I could go down the list. People who know what they're doing, and they're still on duty, they're still flying.
Major Keyhoe, what would you like to see done about flying saucers that is not currently being done? What steps would you like to see taken?
I think the American people should write to their congressman and insist that open hearings be held by the Senate Committee on the Permanent Committee on Government Operations.
Wait a minute! Stop the music! Stop the music, Governor. Did you say the United States government is covering up a history of a UFO sighting in your state? You said the government hasn't cleared this up yet. What are they hiding that you say about a UFO?
They haven't. Well, they don't produce documents, Chris. They should just get it all out. And there's a known history about this.
What is a conspiracy? What is your belief that they're hiding?
They released all documents.
These are two released
CIA UFO documents. You can read 8 words there, 9 words here. Totally useless words, info, location, things like that. Now, there are 2 further points. Anybody who says that agencies of the United States government are not withholding information about flying saucers are either lying or ignorant or both.
Okay, Australia, what other international?
Oh my God! I mean, all over Europe.
Oh my gosh!
You know, hearing from people, you know, Ireland, they say, you know, we heard about what's happening at O'Hara. I mean,
what's O'Hara?
I mean, just as well as serious, you know, researchers at major U.S. universities who've attempted to do their own investigations, and when they go to the government to try to get information, they get stonewalled. So there really is this universal feeling that the government knows a lot more than it's willing to tell.
Man.
The reason for the denial was, number one, they didn't know if these were hostile and could we protect ourselves from them. Didn't want the Soviets to know, so they devised to lie about it and cover it up.
Here's a quote from your letter. I believe that these extraterrestrial vehicles and their crews are visiting this planet from other planets and are obviously a little more advanced than we are here on Earth. And are you saying that's exactly why governments have been trying to keep this information private, because of that obvious advancement?
Very possibly, right. When the pilot first reported the UFO, he described it as a huge ball with lights running around it. He said it was about 4 times bigger than the 747 he was riding. And remember, the 747 has an elevator. And he's looking out the window and he sees something that's 4 times the size of his aircraft. He said he saw it with his eyes, his lying eyes, he saw it. The co-pilot with him saw it, and the other crew member all saw it visibly.
Both objects were of a flattened disc shape with a dark area to the right. They were brilliant yellow with light emanating from within, and I estimated them to be up to possibly a mile across. I found myself astounded but curious, but at 12 miles distant these objects were becoming uncomfortably large, and I was glad to descend and land the aircraft.
During Air Force Flight 3532 from Nice to London on 28 January 1994, I observed with my crew a UFO in broad daylight near Paris. This UFO was in evolution, and it looked like this, with a bank angle of 45 degrees. It seemed to be a huge flying disc.
When we arrived to inspect the crash site, it quickly became apparent that we were not dealing with a plane crash. As the 3 of us got closer to the craft, we started experiencing radio difficulties. When we came up on the triangular-shaped craft, there were blue and yellow lights swirling around the exterior as though they were part of the surface. The air around us was electrically charged, and we could feel it on our clothes, our skin, and our hair. On one side of the craft, there were symbols that measured 3 inches high, and they're approximately about 2.5 feet long.
I still don't know what it was. As a pilot and a former Air Force officer, I can definitively say that this craft did not resemble any man-made object that I'd ever seen.